We just broke our law firm's all-time monthly sales record for the third month in a row, and I just turned 29 years old, which means I have 1 year left to try and meet the net worth goal I set for myself over 6 years ago and have been documenting ever since. If you're building a business, growing a firm, or just trying to make smarter decisions with money as an owner, this series is for you. I'm Jack Duffley. I own Duffley Law, which is a growing estate planning and probate law firm. This is my net worth series where I publicly track the numbers, the decisions behind them, and the lessons that come with building real wealth in real time. Let's get into it. Today is my birthday, and like I said a moment ago, I just turned 29 years old. And at the onset of this net worth series all those years ago, I said it was the goal to try and reach a $1 million net worth and a $30,000 per year passive income, passive in quotes, just investment income really, trying to do that before I turned 30 years old, which means I've got 1 year left. And that was in 2020 dollars, and we know what's happened to the dollar since. But nevertheless, it's been a semi-arbitrary but nice target to go for during that time. We'll talk more about the year ahead and whether I have a reasonable shot to even hit this target with the amount of time left, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But as for last month, as a sort of early birthday present, we were able to build on the momentum we've been building on over the last few months, and we broke yet another record for our sales at the law firm, and it was a pretty big break at that point too. I don't have the final numbers from last month quite yet since I'm filming this a little bit early, but it's looking like our month-over-month sales growth is going to be north of 30% over the last month, which already was a record for our firm by a pretty significant margin. So this was a very substantial month for our firm in the history of our firm. As with all things in business, there's always some paranoia about whether we can maintain the momentum and whether things are fleeting or will go away on a moment's notice. But we're trying to get it so we can raise our floor to where these higher sales levels we've been seeing are more permanent, and we can keep pushing along with these extra sales coming in so we can reinvest into creating a better service for our clients and also into reinvesting into the team so that the team's happier, the team's also better. And meanwhile, our local brand value continues to build as we do better and better work for more and more people, and that's a bit of a feedback loop. It's taken a lot of effort just to get to this point, but it really hasn't been all that long in the grand scheme of business. It's been a little under 3 years since we've started this journey of running a law firm, and really more like 2.5 years since I actually started hiring people for it. We're at something like 20 people on the roster right now, so that by itself is a job to manage, just to make sure that people are in the right position, that things are aligned well, and that we continue doing good work as a team, not just having individual good one-off performances, but really making sure the whole process works and that the whole team works well together, which will only become a bigger and bigger challenge as the team gets bigger. But as with all things business, pretty much everything is downstream of the sales and the leads we're driving, since the more business we can bring in, the more you can reinvest into the product and the service and so on. So a lot of energy is still going towards the front end of that funnel, driving more leads towards our brand, also trying to find more potential referral partners who might be able to send business our way, and we can take care of their clients or their people that they're sending over. And the more good work we're doing, the more client referrals we're seeing as well, which is really great. That is a huge vote of confidence when we can have our actual clients advocating for us to send us more clients down the line. It'll be really interesting to see how much of this momentum we can maintain into April and May and beyond. And that's before we talk about any growth on top of it. Just maintaining the current level we've hit would be a really great development since it's such a big jump from where we were just a few months ago. We're still trying to grow, of course, but we definitely don't want to get over our skis and make sure we're still doing good work at the same time. But the added revenue is super helpful for making sure we can pay down debt, improve our balance sheet overall, both on the law firm side and personally, and that'll make everything stronger going forward since we'll have more resources to take on risks, to try things out, or just to have some safety net in place. So if something goes wrong, we have cash or other assets there. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this month's net worth numbers. As a reminder, last month our net worth was around $182,500. As always, let's start with the good stuff, the assets. We currently have $6.7 million in cash. Psych! Ha! Just kidding.
We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling.
But in reality, the asset side of things doesn't look a whole lot different here. Any new cash that came in through the nice sales month is really going to be sitting on the Duffley Law balance sheet, which isn't going to show too much on the personal side yet. We paid off a lot of credit card debt over the last month, which was awesome. We had accrued quite a bit over the second half of last year as we kind of struggled to get through some things. So that's been great to just try and clear some of that out, really get things in a better spot there. But at the same time, we were also able to pay off the last of any credit card balance that we had over at the old steam cleaning business, which I sold. So it's not an operating business at this point for me, but I was holding a credit card balance now. So now all that's left really is the seller's note and any cash that's left in the business, since we're getting paid from the sale over time. But there was still about 9 or 10 grand in credit card debt as of last month, so that is all gone now. And there was much rejoicing. I've still got other credit cards to worry about, of course, but that was a nice step forward. If we can keep up anything close to the sales we've been doing over the last month and a half or so, that would be really awesome for being able to build up a lot more cash over at Duffley Law, as well as cash on our personal balance sheet, and just give us that much more of a safety net and some more breathing room, since we really have not had much in a very long time. It's been very much hand to mouth for a lot of this last couple of years, and actually be able to make some serious progress is super nice to potentially be able to do. During the worst of times, we burned through a lot of cash and took out a lot of credit lines just to try and keep things afloat and try to keep growing. Perhaps some of that was misguided, but we've made it this far and we're making really good progress compared to where we were just a couple of years ago. Anyways, that puts us at $1.2 million in assets. And now onto liabilities. I went ahead and ticked up the income tax estimated balance here. Some of this will probably be estimated tax payments for next year as well, which we're actually having to worry about for once. Since the last couple of years, I've been able to carry so many business losses forward. I haven't had much of a tax bill, but it looks like if things maintain, we'll actually have a decent tax bill next year, which would be an interesting problem to have. But anyways, I leave this here because I plan to make some sort of significant tax payment here in the next month, mainly for last year's taxes. Maybe we'll throw in a little bit for this year's estimated as well. We knocked off another $1,000 in credit card balances, at least shown here on the personal side, in addition to the 9 or 10 grand we paid off on the steam cleaning business side that I mentioned earlier, or I really should say the empty shell of what was the steam cleaning business before. But if we switch on over to the debt paydown view, we can see a more detailed view of what was paid off on the personal side of things, and almost another 7 grand was paid off, so nice to see. A lot of that again is from minimum payments on the loans, so it's just natural pay down on the loans that should continue to accelerate. We're really getting close to paying off this personal loan number 5. I'll get back to that in a bit, but we're finally in a position, especially now that so many of the credit cards have been paid off, we can start taking some shots at these smaller loans to eliminate payments. But anyways, as of this month, we're looking at about 19 grand or so paid off over the year, looking to really expand that out, especially if we can keep up these sales that we've been doing. Like I said, we can really start to get some aggressive personal debt pay down finally to really start forging ahead here. So the things we'll be focusing on after the tax bill, of course, on the personal side, will be that personal loan number 5 down there. That has something like a $600 per month payment that needs to be made. So once that's gone, that's $600 a month or so. That can be used towards anything else. I don't have to make that payment, so it's just a little bit of relief since, at least from a cash flow perspective, that I don't have to make that payment. Same goes for any of these other loans that I can knock off. The other thing, of course, to still focus most of my debt attention towards would be the credit cards, because the interest balance on most of that is much higher than any other loan, although some of that is on a credit card promo, but that will stop in some months, so we are going to want to pay those down. I'm really excited to be a big step closer to getting rid of not only all of the credit cards, but also some of these personal loans at long last.
Almost there.
Anyways, pretty much all pay down is good pay down, so we'll keep doing that. But in total, we have just over $1 million in liabilities, which means we're almost under $1 million in liabilities on the personal side for the first time in quite a while. Which means our net worth has increased to almost $195,000, which is an increase of $12,000 over the last month. Our debt ratio has decreased nearly a full percent down to 83.83%, and our passive income remains at something like $800 per month. So a nice month overall, and we're probably even underreporting a little bit about how much progress we made when it comes to debt pay down, because some of the debts that are on the business side don't really show as itemized on our personal balance sheet. But the point is, it was a very positive month and we want to keep that momentum going. Now, like I said earlier, technically speaking, I set this arbitrary target of trying to reach $1 million by the time I'm 30. That would mean I have about $800,000 to go to get there, which would come out to between $60,000 and $70,000 per month in average net worth gain over the next 12 months. Now, to put that in perspective, the biggest month we've ever had in this series, technically speaking, was about a year ago. We had a $30,000 gain in 1 month, which was nice, but that was really more of a fluke month. So to expect that kind of performance month over month right now, it's not that it couldn't happen, but it's going to be an uphill battle. The big difference, though, is we've made a lot of progress in building out the leverage of the law firm. And by leverage, I mean the ability to work on a lot of volume all at once, whereas we really didn't have that 2 or 3 years ago. So our capacity to do work was a lot lower, and we didn't know as much about what we were doing compared to now. Or at least we weren't nearly as focused on what we were doing. And when we focus more, we get better at what we're doing, we get better at messaging, we get better at bringing in those clients that we can serve the best. And that just creates that positive feedback loop we were talking about earlier, where we can keep driving new leads, keep driving new sales, and just get better and better at what we're doing and be able to deal with that higher volume. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to write off the idea that we could potentially get this done over the next year. It's going to require a lot of things to go right. I'm going to have to learn things that I probably don't know now. I'm going to have to make sure we execute on the things that we do know how to do, which is a challenge in itself, and just trying to keep the whole thing moving forward. And the thing with business is, as my own skills, as the team skills compound on top of each other, you start to be able to see some of that exponential growth as those skills compound on each other. When the skills compound, then you can actually compound your revenue as well, since you can do more things, or at least do certain things better, and then you can charge more for them, or at least do things more efficiently so you can do a lot more of it total. Whatever the case, we may be at the beginning of that exponential growth curve right now, where we're seeing major month-over-month growth for a number of months now. How much more growth will we see over the coming months? I don't know for certain. I don't know what the future holds. I'm going to try to focus on the things we can control so we can keep trying to keep the ball moving forward. But you never know what's going to happen, and we have to react to things as they come, try to be proactive when we can, and just keep trying to nudge things along. If we could take a big step here or there, we'll take it. Now, even if I don't reach that $1 million target a year from now, it's not like it'll be the end of the world. I'll have learned a lot of lessons along the way, like I already have, and I'll be that much smarter, that much better a year from now, and theoretically I should have more capacity to do good work and to be able to make more money for it. And whether I have $200,000 or $1 million or $0 a year from now, no one can take away the skills that I've been able to accrue.
Nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
So I'm just going to keep trying to build on that. If we can make enough to pay down debt in the meantime, all the better. Regardless, I appreciate everyone who supported me along the way and who supported me in building the business. And if you don't want to miss future episodes, be sure to subscribe. I put a new one of these episodes out every single month, and you can see how I do over this next year. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, depending on the Lord. That's all we got.